We're sat here in the lounge at Van Haven for our first ever podcast.
Who decided that we should podcast?
I have no idea. Basically, I came into work today and was told at about 10 o'clock that today we're doing a podcast.
Super. I'm keen. Do you listen to podcasts?
No, but I do have a piece of paper with some interesting and useful tips for us to be talking about.
Super.
Shall we go over these?
Yes.
Right. Behind the build, what makes a high-end van conversion?
Yep.
I think we're qualified to talk about that. Van Haven's creative process and inspiration.
Okay.
Good subject.
Yeah.
The VW van life movement. Where are we in 2025?
Sure. Yeah.
And the future of custom vans, not the brand. Let's change that.
Yeah.
The future of bespoke built VW transporter vans.
Sure. Yeah.
And what's next for Van Haven?
Okay.
Which is all good points for us to be chatting about.
Yeah. I hope we know the answers.
We're going to make them up, mate. We're just going to absolutely wing it. So for all the people who are listening to our voices now, sit back, relax, open a beer, and I hope that we can give you some kind of insight into our industry and what it's all about.
Yeah. Wicked.
It's a good industry, isn't it?
It's very fun. So, yeah, I've been involved now 3-4 years. You've been with Van Haven since the beginning. So that's what, 10 years now Van Haven's been running?
We call it, yeah.
Nine,
call it a
10
decade.
Years? Yeah.
Because then it's just a decade.
A decade of building transporters.
Yes, although that I'm not probably the person who, I've never actually done the building, because otherwise they would end up,
wonky.
Not straight. It's quite a strange concept, isn't it, Saya? Because we talk about vans all day, every day. And then when we get home in the evenings and the short amount of time these days we do spend with each other out of work, we do just end up talking about vans.
Yeah, vans. And then we're often building our own vans in our spare time.
You've got loads of vans at the moment.
I've got too many vans at the moment.
I started I started our relationship and our friendship with more vans than you. You have massively overtaken.
How the tables have turned, my friend.
Maybe. Awesome. Well, I think probably the best thing to start off with is the history of transporters, and why they're so cool. I had a massive rant on a video a couple of weeks ago when I was out with Jordan Butler. You know the rant?
Yeah, I know the rant.
Yeah.
All about the wing mirrors.
And dashboards.
And dashboards.
Yeah. And I think that having the freedom and the ease of being able just to go out and hang out in a van is so underrated by a huge part of the of population. Can you imagine if it was in the school curriculum that you had to go and spend a bit of time in a van somewhere? It doesn't matter if it's a transporter, just a van. And you had to go and sit under the stars with a fire, get pissed, talk utter nonsense with your fellow campfirees. I think the world would be a very different place.
Yeah. Because people often say on comments, and it's never normally the people we deal with, but other people who have a very short glance or see what we're doing and they're like, they just don't understand it. Like, why would you spend your time in a vehicle in that way recreationally? A vehicle was just an A to B, put stuff in the back of it, load it up, go somewhere, and then but I would say to anyone who has never done it, just to go and do it. These days it's so easy to rent vehicles, whether it's coach built motorhomes or vans that people have built themselves.
What do we call coach built motorhomes?
Plastic fantastics.
Because they're plastic and they're fantastic.
And Darren, our workshop manager,
had the ultimate plastic fantastic.
As far as plastic fantastic vehicles go, it was beautiful. But then he sold it, and it could have been because we teased him too much.
He's got a crafter now.
He has got a crafter.
Which
He's seen the light. Yeah.
And I saw that thing on the road the other day. So I was coming out of my place.
Yeah.
And he balls up the road with his chameleon blue windshield. And have you seen all the decals and stuff he's put on the
He's
side?
done a marvellous job.
Oh my God. Darren's the workshop manager, by the way, for everyone who doesn't know.
So him and his kids are motocross fanatics. He's out almost every weekend with his lads riding their motorbikes. And yeah, he's built his rig, hasn't he? It's very comfortable, so all three of the lads can stay in there. Massive garage for his motorcycles. He's got all the toys: shower, microwave, huge garage, air compressors, tool storage. It was an impressive build.
I like Darren's van.
It's very, very nice. But yes, to anyone who doesn't quite get it, go and try it. You know, it's very easy to rent a van for the weekend. We appreciate it's not for everyone,
I reckon,
but we absolutely love it.
I reckon if everyone actually had a go, I think everyone would love it.
I think people would be surprised.
It's human connection because when you actually, less is more sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
So take the tin box on wheels away, sitting somewhere totally quiet and beautiful, with people who you like, doing nothing and doing nothing together is incredibly empowering. And it is actually the basis of all human connection. Yeah. So before we talk about van conversions, this is kind of like the underpinning. And it really is, isn't it? Because you and I can sit around a fire in an evening until 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Until too late. Yeah.
Doing nothing.
It's a good way to spend time.
Oh, wow. I've got a phone call coming in on the podcast.
Oh, dear. But I think that spending time in nature is a primal requirement, along with the aspect of travel. So traveling to a spot, setting up camp, setting up your own little space, eating, drinking, and spending time in nature. They're very primal things.
Yeah, and you always eat quite shit food. Generally speaking, it's never like a big, monstrous, mega meal, is it? It's always something. It's always really yummy because a cracker with cream cheese and chili jam has never tasted better when you're out with a good beer and a fire and good company. Yeah. Honestly, it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah,
because you wouldn't sit at home and go, "Blanzy, do you fancy a cracker?" A dry cracker with some cream cheese and chili jam. But when you're sat leaning next to a vehicle under the stars or looking at a beautiful view, suddenly that's a really premium product.
Yeah. Yeah. And nowadays with sort of technology and how far things have come, you know, you can have a full roast dinner cooked off grid. You
can.
Yeah.
You can.
It's wild. Honestly, it's wild.
Look, the Ninja.
Well, even in a gas oven, you know? So, yeah, everyone should try it, but we appreciate it's not for everyone.
I think it should be school curriculum. I think they need to do it so they can appreciate it, and then everyone can drive vans and actually have a little bit of downtime. The thing is that we're all so busy. My morning today has just been fucked.
Modern life is brutal.
It's mad.
Yeah.
And we're all bombarded with information continuously. Our brains are so hyperactive,
and you can't even switch off now. You know,
man. So you've got these mobile phones.
So we've got between us 4 mobile phones.
Jordan, how many mobile phones have you got on you?
One. Well, yeah.
Leaning forward.
So 5 mobile phones.
Is that better? Did I sound a bit shit because I wasn't leaning forward? We're amateurs when it comes to the podcast.
Amateur radio.
If you're still with us, congratulations. You have managed 5 minutes of Tom and Ollie's waffle.
And if you're getting bored, Joe Rogan's on Spotify.
But that's 3 hours long. This is only going to be 45 minutes to an hour, apparently.
I think that spending time in a vehicle, camping out in the wilderness and getting away is a form of escapism, which I think is needed in hectic modern life. It's a good medicine.
It is.
I feel.
Well, time is. And something I talk a lot about with customers and clients and with everyone, really. I bang on about it a lot. I probably touched on it in other YouTube videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Is money you can always make, but time you can't.
Yeah.
And when you are in 2025, everyone is pretty time poor, aren't they?
Yeah.
You come to work, you go home, you entertain yourselves for a few hours before you go to bed to come back to work again. So the only true kind of like that emotional silence bit is when you're doing something that you enjoy. And the vans are the best thing to supercharge that.
Yeah.
You think you've got someone. We have an awful lot of cyclists, don't we? We deal with a lot of cyclists.
Cyclists are massive van fans.
Yeah, they are. Because they want to put their bikes in the back of them. Yeah. But when you think about it like this, if you are running a company or you're in management or whatever, and your brain is continuously working. Even when you go home, you'll still be thinking about, oh shit, I've got that email to do. Oh bollocks, I didn't speak to that guy who just called me, who genuinely I forgot to speak to on Tuesday.
It's easily done. Yeah.
So, but when you're out on your bike and you're in the middle of your ride, the only thing that you're actually thinking about is being in the present moment. So you're thinking about, your pedal pattern or your breath or the scenery or how quiet it is or the sunshine, your temperature and that's like you're turned off at that point because you're just living in that moment.
Yeah.
And that's so valuable. So finding something to, the vans really do enable you to make doing that so much more easy. And I suppose coming back to sitting around a campfire with good friends and having, just general off time is all about that time. It's all about that emotional silence. So it's what's life's all about.
So when was your first van and when was the first time you kind of camped out in a van and thought, wow?
Okay, so do you know the song, I Got a Combine Harvester, da, da, da,
yeah.
It was done by a band called The Wurzels.
Yeah, I know The Wurzels.
So at the time, I was working in a car body shop in Wincanton Auto Repairs. Mike Dare, legend.
Still going?
Yep. It's run by Simon Dare, because Mike's retired, lives in Spain now. He's a lovely old man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so at the time, I was driving around in what was known as the Pumobile. It was a 300 TE Mercedes from like 1989 or something.
Yeah.
Right? This thing was hilarious. Big brown Mercedes.
Yeah.
Brown interior, brown carpets, brown steering wheel, brown dashboard, brown door cards.
I'm getting horny.
Yeah.
That's my vibe.
Two-tone brown, because
Nice.
that model car, Mercedes, they've got like some weird panel. Anyway.
Yeah.
I then, so I was driving around in this and I slept in the back going to festivals, free parties. I was 18, 19 years old at this time. So it was quite a useful tool. And I went to a garage to get it machine polished because all the lacquer was fucked. And I thought, I'll just get someone to polish it and it'll look really nice and I'll flog it and I'll go and buy myself a Volvo, which is what I wanted, the 245.
Yeah.
And there was a Mark I transit van. And this van had zebra cloth dashboard. And you know those things that go on banisters and they're like a little spiral? And they like hold the banister up and then you've got your steps. And what are those called? Those things?
Newell
Spindles.
posts.
What are they called?
Newell posts.
Oh, the Newell posts. I knew you'd know that.
Or spindles. Yeah,
spindles.
The little bits going.
Yeah, they go up. Right. The whole dashboard was zebra and those wooden things cut in and stuck all over it to make some kind of square shelf that went and sat over the top of the dashboard.
Okay.
But it gets better because it then had tiger fluffy door cards and cow fluffy seat covers. And it was two-tone. It was blue, white with a gold stripe between the blue, and then red underneath. And it had the old Weller, old school, like hot rod Weller wheels on it.
Banded stills?
No, they're like proper old alloy wheels. They've got a name. I don't know what they are, but they're like classic. They've got red painted inside of them. Anyway. So that was my first ever van.
And that belonged to the Wurzels?
that was the Wurzels' bus. That was their gig van, right?
Nice.
And it was there to have some work on it. Anyway, I fell in love with this thing because it was so bad. It was so cool. It was just like fugly. Anyway, I swapped it for my Mercedes Pumobile and my entire Tang Tools toolbox with all the tools in it.
You sold your tools
as well? I swapped it. I had no money at that time in my life. I was absolutely broke.
So the Wurzels needed your Tang tools?
No, the garage gave the Wurzels the money. I gave the garage the Mercedes and the toolbox.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I drove away in this Transit, 2-litre Pinto, immaculate. It was in really good condition. So I then go to my friend's house, who's passed away now, Josh Park. He's a lovely boy, but he partied too hard. And picked up Josh, and we went out around Dorset somewhere and found this massive chalk road, which we decided we're going to drive this Transit van to the top of and basically sleep in it and have a party. In a non sort of homosexual way, just two lads, beers, that type of thing. Just putting that down for the record. Just putting that down for the record.
You were young.
So me and Josh driving this Transit van with all of our freaking multi-animal furs going, and we went up this track, and the centre of the track got taller and taller and taller. And I got a front beam axle on those Transit vans, which go all the way across, like under. Yeah. And we just grounded ourselves out. So it ended up actually being a 5-hour walk because we've gone a long way up this chalk path, honestly, to find someone with a telehandler to come and rescue us. Anyway, that was my first ever van. It was too late by the time we got rescued. I then took it home and basically emptied my bedroom into the back of it. So I had a sofa, little fold-out table, and all the other crap that I kind of wanted. Radio control cars was a big part of my life, so I had like little shelves literally screwed onto like the big metal supports that go around the inside of them. That was my first van, and then festivaling, partying, staying at friends' houses. You know, I didn't have my own house at that age, so it was like my mobile home, literally.
Nice.
That was my first ever van. Fell in love with my first ever love of my life in that van, which was pretty cool. I then gave it to a very good friend of mine at the time because she was desperate for a van and didn't have one, and I moved on to big classic cars, so I gave her the van. Nice. She stopped me in the pub and she's like, "Oh, Wally, I want to buy a van." I said, "Oh, give me 75 quid."
Really?
I then had instant regret because I'm an honourable man, so I gave her the fucking van. I just remembered I'd lost my entire Pumobile and my Tang tools and all my toolbox, and all I had had was a couple of experiences and 75 quid to show for it. So yeah, it was pretty brutal. Anyway, what was your first van?
Long wheelbase Transit van, 2003 Transit.
Nice.
I bought the van because I, as you know, play drums. At the time I was playing in bands, and I bought loads of audio equipment, and I just needed something to carry it all around in. And I was driving from the south to Scotland a lot when I was up at university and had all the band gear, PA equipment, lighting, etc. And it was bought originally for a tool. I'd always done lots of sort of camping, and then over the years realised that a van can be way more comfortable. You can have all of your, pots, pans, everything that you need. And there was one time, Alona and I, on our first overnighter date, when we first met, thought we'd go camping, and we borrowed a load of camping equipment from the family, went all the way down to Corfe Castle, found the spot, opened up the tent, and realised there was no poles inside. So it was ruined our weekend. But the Transit was my first van, and then the first camper van we built was Kermit the Crafter. And that's been a very loyal steed.
You still have Kermit?
I still have Kermit, yeah.
You use Kermit regularly?
That's it, for everything. No, not just staying in, but running to the builders merchants, picking up timber, friends moving house, marketplace purchases for big things.
And you built Kermit out, didn't you? So he's got scratch. A full kitchen, big bed, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all that. So we built that. Yeah, Luna and I built that together.
Kermit's green, by the way, everybody. So you're aware. He's a very, very green
green bus. And we've had loads of other vehicles since, but it's just the freedom to be able to turn the key, we're both busy people, no kids or anything. But come Friday, we know that all we need to do is turn the key in the ignition, hit the road, and we've got everything in it. You know, we can pick up a few beers along the way, and that'll be us for the weekend.
Oh, awesome!
Very comfortable. So, yeah, it's awesome.
I've pretty much always had a van in my life.
Yeah,
I've never not had a van in my life. My fondest van was a P-registered LDV convoy with an EN55 Peugeot engine called Dennis. You know Dennis?
I know Dennis, yeah.
He was an absolute legend, and I've got some good stories about that van. So Danny, my new fiance, and I, when we were courting, I decided to take her to Wales. Right?
Nothing impresses a woman more than a P-Reg LDV convoy.
Hey man, it was a cool van. It was really bohemian inside, but it had like solid wood worktops and Waney edge, and you know, it was a beautiful inside.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I mean, the van was fucked, but it was beautiful. So I took Danny, who, as you know, is a terrible passenger and hates anything fast, speedy, anything dangerous with cars at all.
Yeah.
To Snowdonia, and the gear linkage was held together with sticks and baler twine. So on those vans, the gear linkage, you've got like you've got two ball joints essentially that holds the gearbox. That fucked. So I literally tied that, and we did that entire journey. So first and third were basically in the same place. You had to really learn how to drive it. Anyway, I've been driving it like that for a long, long time, but I was used to it. I put Danny in it to drive it. She couldn't drive it. So anyway, I'll get to the point because listeners are probably thinking this is very boring. We got back from Snowdonia, and my missus was always like doing the dead pedal for the brakes.
Yeah.
The van didn't stop very well.
No.
I went to see Dan down at A&K, and I said, yeah, you need to check out the brakes. I had one brake working at about 5%. And he said, how have you driven this? And there were times, honestly, dude, where we were driving up like the steepest roads, and it was so, I think they're like 70 horsepower. And I had 1.5 tons of conversion in the back, which was beautifully executed.
Beautiful hardwood.
Yeah. Like, this was the slowest thing you've ever been in. I mean, 5 miles an hour was a regular, but going up Snowdonia was like full chat first gear. And the revs were low because I didn't have much petrol. Oh my God, mental.
But look at the position we're in now. How times have changed.
I still have an LDV,
crusty,
and you
crusty
still
we still have them. But we also build the most beautiful transporter vans.
Well, we do, because they need to be beautiful because of the price point. You know, when you're dealing with a shit van, you can build a beautiful conversion, but like a house, you don't want to go over its ceiling value.
Yeah.
And the vans that we build here at Van Haven, I suppose this is what we should be talking about. They are the finest of the finest, and I don't say that in an arrogant kind of way, because they're a pain in the ass to build. You know, they take a lot of time and a lot of energy and a hell of a lot of thought process to actually execute them. And in our earlier years, when did you join Van Haven? 2021?
Must have been around then. Yeah, it's after COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah. We were just embarking on starting to build some real big vans. Is there a standout van that you remember from your very early days that we created?
And ironically, it's in the workshop at the moment.
And what is
Andy's van, the copper bronze 21 plate, which was one of the first 6.1 demonstrators Van Haven ever built. That was the first ever Van Haven van that I drove. And I can remember when we met, and we'd spoken on the phone before, and you were like, look, we're very rural up here. How would you feel about working in a porter cabin?
Can we just put that into context?
Yeah.
Okay. So my first time I ever saw you were wearing a 3-piece suit, sat in a white room with marble floor effect tiles, a desk with a pen and a piece of paper, and you were
regulation,
a sales executive at Audi in Salisbury.
Yeah.
So you were like the smartest, honestly. Black suit, black waistcoat, red tie, white
Always
shirt.
a red tie. Yeah, always a dash of red.
Yeah. So, trying when we first spoke to kind of bring you here. And old Van Haven site guys, I cannot tell you how brutal the old site was. I mean, we took the British image, inverted commas, of luxury things coming out of sheds from rural England to a whole new fucking level. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely brutal. So yeah, Burnsy had to come and work in a £4,000 porter cabin.
Yeah, it's very comfortable. But that copper van, really did stand out.
It did.
And I don't know whether it's because the rest of the farm was a little bit crummy and a bit worn. But yeah, immediately the vans and just the quality of the product you boys, or even at that stage, were making was impressive.
We were a year in to the T6.1.
To the new vans, yeah.
So the Haven 6s, which were kind of the van that put Van Haven on the map, they were good, you know. But when we got the T6.1, we made a conscious decision that actually we were going to start our builds where everybody else stops, which is probably the best way to describe a Van Haven van.
Yeah.
So it had all the Alcantara cab, A pillars, B pillars. It had all the lovely mood lighting in that van. It was like, it really did. You are right. It really did stand out.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Stanced beautifully on those, because it was originally on Indian grey EX30s.
It was, yeah.
With a big stagger on the back.
Yeah, now it's on Swamper wheels.
That van's gone through so many. It's gone through 3 different hands, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, it's got the pop top in it, and now it's in for cabinetry and a sliding bed on rails to be more of a campery,
so cool
type of van. But yeah, there's a special place in my heart for that van. And I can remember you saying take it out for a drive, and I was like, wow, this is brilliant.
Come out of an A8 into a transporter, and you said that.
I was impressed. You know?
On my piece of paper, it says, behind the build, what makes a high-end van conversion?
Yeah, well, initially you'd think it's parts and labour, you know? That's what makes a product more expensive than another product. But I would also maybe think about our service as a group of people. You know, it's the aftercare, the warranty, which has a whole lot of value that maybe someone looking from the outside, when they just see a price tag on the internet of a vehicle, they'll just think, cool, that's a lot of money for a van. And it is a lot of money for a van.
It is. I still think they represent really good value for money. I also think it's the fact that everyone in the business does vans, or at least has had a decent amount of experience in vans, knows where everything needs to be. And also everyone's a bit of a petrol head. I mean, we've got everyone here. I mean, the Van Haven car park, you are the only person at Van Haven who has a standard car.
Yeah.
And Mike. He's the financial controller.
Yeah. The 2 most boring people at Van Haven.
Oh, you can't say that. That's not true. So it's having a really good understanding of kind of like how to enhance vehicles correctly. Yeah. Because anyone can chuck carpet on a panel. Anyone can carpet line a metalwork. Yeah. But it's actually doing it without any joins, smooth. When you take the panel off, it all looks just as nice, you know, behind there as it does when it's hidden. And using the best materials makes our life easier. And the best, generally, it's a horrible thing, isn't it? That if you just pay a little bit more, you do end up with a better product. Like from the dodo matting to the insulation, to the carpet, to the leather, to the little lights, to the buttons, to the switches, everything. I mean, just generally, you buy a cheap rocker switch, just feels rubbish. Yeah. Where if you pick a nice one.
Yeah, that's it.
Little big things, you know?
Yeah, and I would say as well, we allow customers to do, you know, what they want us to do. You know, building vans that are either one-offs or custom, doesn't make great business sense, does it? Because they always run over. They always cost way more money than we think that they do. They always take way more time. And often when you're doing something new for the first time that's maybe not been done before, you don't really know how it's going to fare the test of time. So then we've got to make sure that we look after that customer. If something does go wrong, then we have to put it right or sort it out. But that's part of the fun of it, you know. I think if we were building the same van day in and day out, the guys in the workshop would be as bored as you like of just building the same thing.
Well, you wouldn't be
paint shop would be bored using the same colours. And
this is actually right on point to the question that's highlighted in pink on this piece of paper. Yeah, if we were to have a model range, so let's just say we only built edition 73s.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would have a conveyor belt system. You would have one person doing the wiring. Well, you'd have, this is how it would do it. You'd get someone come in, the van would come in, it would get stripped, it would then get wired, it would then get dodo matted,
onto the ramps,
insulated, and every human would do the same job. So literally one person's job. All they do is just freaking wiring up comfort lines. And then the next person would just do, and that's like standard production. So to answer this question in its actual true form of what makes a high-end van conversion, it all comes down to one thing, and that's individual pride. Because we don't do that. And we should do that, because that's if we were here to do one thing, and this is kind of contradictory because we're obviously here to make profit, because we want to enhance and move forward and innovate and develop onto new products and yada, 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 yada. But actually what we do is we have that one individual technician build it from start to finish, which then means and brings it back to where we deal with a customer. I've just built that mad fishing van. Yeah. Rob and I, honestly, we have spent hundreds of hours on the telephone, you know, dealing with, should we put this there? How do we do that? He was so involved in the design, and it came back for its shakedown. And we've tweaked a few little things to make sure that it all works, because we assumed, although we put hundreds of hours worth of prep and kind of like thought process into the actual usability of that machine for him, the conversion. But because one man, who was another Rob, and Tom, so Rob and Tom built that van. And those guys tag team that build, and we worked so closely with the customer, and we used all the best products, is why that van is so like more advanced than everything else in the industry for a build like that.
Did we show that on the internet?
No. We don't show a lot of our vans on the internet.
No, this is
and
tough.
We should do.
Yeah.
But we're also, our average age here is probably 36 years old.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, do you reckon?
I would say so.
As an average. So we're a bunch of young people. We embrace a bit of chaos. That's okay, because we're building one-off things over and over again. And like my morning this morning with a camper that we're working on at the moment, it gets hectic. It's challenging, and it would be stupid and untruthful. We'd be lie if you said that we don't have our stressful moments. But going through that, and with Rob's build, some of the stresses that we had to go through, that's what makes you learn, you know. And because we've done that for so many years, 5 years now, we've been dealing with brand new, bespoke, full off, one-off mega vans, you know. You learn from your mistakes. But always. Because most people don't go down that route and they just stick to the same old thing, do you know what I mean? They don't ever, they never really progress. So I think what makes a high-end van conversion, it's years of mistakes. Yeah. It's doing things illogically and actually just giving one person the job. Being okay with sometimes not making any money. Because it's true.
James won't agree.
James won't agree with that. No, of
Go.
course he won't.
Yeah.
But that is the reality.
Yeah.
But what happens is on that build, we do it once,
Yeah.
we nail it,
Yeah.
it comes back for shakedown, we see where we've done wrong, or what's hasn't worked out logic-wise,
Sure.
you know, and then 6 months later, Tom Burns comes along and goes, I'd like one of those. I'm like, yeah,
We've done that before.
we've learned the hard way. We now know how to do that.
That's it.
So without the pain and the stress and the financial burden of building one-off vans
Yeah.
over the last 5 years means that today in 2025, actually, I think that answers that question. I think that's it. It comes through from learning, and always innovating and always working really closely with people and not being arrogant and going, this is how it's done. We do it this way because this way is the best.
Yeah.
When actually the reality is that sometimes it's not the best.
Yeah. And it's awesome to have that kind of freedom in a way. We've got some new projects.
You winced when you said freedom.
I haven't got a lot of freedom, but obviously, you know what it's like when you find that certain client who's just like, right, I want you to build this for me, and you're like, oh God, we've never done that before. And then he chats about it in the team, and normally we do it, don't we? Because everyone always gets very excited.
We always
do. All the passion at the front end.
James is the only one who doesn't get excited.
And then James is like, wow, how much is it going to go? We're like, don't know until we do it. And then normally, the first time we do it won't make much money. But the second time, third time, we've normally got it nailed down. So we know what it needs to be.
I reckon for all the people who are still here listening to us, if you are a business owner, I think that it's probably exactly the same in whatever industry you're in. I think once you become a master at your trade, you only become a master through your failings.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, isn't it?
Very wise words coming from Wally CT today. Just want to sort of highlight that. That's quite could be a meme.
Yeah, but it's many things, isn't it? Really, that question: what makes a high-end van? It's parts, labour, care, love, learning from mistakes, experience,
money.
Money.
Money makes it easier.
Well, it does. Yeah, it's one of those.
Our next pink stripe.
Go for
it. Is Van Haven's creative process and inspiration.
So if you were to look at one of my social media feeds of what I consume in my spare time, it's pretty much all vans, trucks, tiny homes, buses, interior design things. Yeah. We just live and breathe it. And everyone at Van Haven has got their own little niche that they really love, whether it's drift cars, off-roading, motocross,
drag cars.
They're all variations on a theme.
Vans. They are,
aren't they?
Everything is about nice things in our industry.
Yeah. Because our vans are normally designed with some sort of passion or hobby or interest behind them. And 9 times out of 10, if we're approached by a client who wants a van for X, there will probably be someone here in the team who also does that and can just shine so much light on how to do it. So often we don't have to do the research because the knowledge is already here. Remember the first motorbike van I did?
Yeah.
I don't know how to strap a motorbike into a van.
You do now.
I know everything about strapping motorbikes into vans. But Darren does it every other day.
Yeah.
And he knows other people who do it differently. And we learn from other people's experience and even what our clients tell us they want. So we kind of take inspiration from them.
The design side of things, for me, is a really, really big one. You know, we love looking at, I love everything and anything vintage. I think things were better back in the old days when things were made properly with care and attention.
That is true.
So when it's got the inspiration, and you've got a customer going, I like this, that, and the other. And then you go back and you find something that's so far removed from a transporter. And you go, right, how can I integrate that into a transporter and make that a thing?
Yeah.
That's what gets me excited. You know, Jason, Ascot Grey, blue, royal blue Alcantara.
Beautiful interior.
That van
was really special.
Inspiration was like a 1970s Bentley. And that van turned out another van that never went online.
Yeah.
You know? But that van really pushed the inspiration. And now, from that van, there are areas that we do and what we do. And literally right now, building a van for a gentleman with the same style satin interior optics and that vibe, because it's well, I don't know what I'm saying, but it's just mental, isn't it? That you go and you look at a 1970s Bentley to put inspiration into a brand new van, and it works. It's exciting. It really feels the passion buttons in everybody.
Yeah, it's awesome. And sometimes as well, inspiration from our clients. You remember Alex's van with the tweed headliner?
Yep.
I don't think that made it on the internet.
Nope.
That van came in for some work. I don't know what we were doing to it, maybe a few weeks ago. And I saw that. My God, that is wicked.
That van of Alex's is just possibly one of the most cool. It's so cool. And it's so understated.
Yeah.
It makes it Sub-Zero.
And
if it was a Top Gear wall and you had your Sub-Zeros, cools and all that kind of stuff, on paper, Alex's van would be cool.
Yeah.
Until you actually stand next to it. And then it's Sub-Zero. Tweed, Harris tweed, roof lining.
Yeah. And I had a really rogue seat layout in the back with 2 Caravelle singles on one side with like cut rails. And then he drove the van from us up to the Ply Guys in Scotland because he wanted their furniture. And those boys up there had done a lot of tweed work because they're very near to Harris Tweed. And so I was on the phone to them going like, look, have you ever done a headliner in tweed before? And they were like, well, we've done some headliners in the old Defenders because they'd done cabinetry and solutions for
But we did the tweed roof lining.
We did the tweed, having never done it before. And I was so worried that it wasn't going to work. Like physically wasn't going to stick to the headliner.
I remember the moment I had to go into the workshop and tell them that I wanted the herringbone, I think that's what you can call it, not to be warped. And then the technician looking at the roof furniture and where the sun visor goes in and it's all like wibbly wobbly. And I'm going, no, it's got to be in line. And the challenging stare of, are you serious?
Yeah.
Right, are you serious? It's like, yeah, because if we're going to do it, if it takes you 5 hours, take 5 hours, just make it look cool.
Yeah.
And it did. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Now that van's going to be at Sherborne at the Classics.
Is it?
At Sherborne, Classics at the Castle for Sherborne. Looking forward to seeing that van. We should definitely get some pickies, get that up and about if he's happy to do so. Creative process. Well, that's just communication, isn't
100%. We ask the weirdest questions.
People must think so. Can you? It's quite a good conversation to have because this is actually great. Could you imagine ringing Van Haven? Like you're just there looking for a van.
Yeah.
You're picking up the phone. Oh yeah. Talk to that company. Oh yeah, we'll do that, and you get through to the Welsh guys, and oh yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
And then you get to the Van Haven. You're like, tell me about your kitchen.
Is it modern? Gloss?
Yeah. Tell me, what was your favourite car when you were 18 years old? Okay, and what did you like about that the most? How do you drive?
Yeah, how do you drive?
I asked a customer.
How big are you?
Yeah,
what is your waist size?
Yeah. What's your frame size?
Yeah.
It's so funny because, and I think that's why people actually generally, I think that's probably why our, I'm going to sound like a prick, but I'm going to say it, why our close rate on our big builds is so successful. Because people genuinely like get it. They're like, oh, okay, this isn't just me going out and buying a transporter. It is more than.
Yeah.
Is that the right thing to say?
It's probably a mixture of. I don't think for those crazy builds, I don't think there are many people that do it. Is the honest truth.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
We are definitely the only people to take on the roguest of the roguest. Not that we want to promote doing rogue builds, because they are. Oh no, that's wrong. We love rogue builds. Sorry, James. I know you love the Edition 73, but you're sat on here on this podcast with Burnsy and Ollie. So
yeah, I mean,
if you want a left-handed widget holder for a right-handed man, we're your guys.
But I think if we were to stop doing that,
we'd lose our soul.
How would we feel? Yeah,
we'd lose our soul. Okay, so moving on swiftly to the VW van life movement. Where is it at in 2025? This is such a big question because of the new transporter. And I think it's probably, if you've got to this far, this is the nugget, right? So you've been rewarded to stay with us for this amount of time of podcast so that you can hear this. This is actually what's next for Van Haven's future, and where is the van life VW movement in 2025? Well, we are actually, as a company and as a part of the wider community, in just as much as of a kerfuffle as everybody else, because the market really is in a massive kerfuffle at the moment.
Yeah.
No one really knows what to do. And this is so evident. You don't have to listen to you and I as members of the community to know this. You can just go onto any forum, any online. Have you seen a T7 on the road? Or sorry, a new transporter? Fuck it, I'm going to call it a T7 just because it makes life easier. Yeah. Have you seen one on the road?
Yes.
Have you?
One.
Okay. I've been lucky enough to drive all over the country in the last 5 months, and I haven't really seen one. I saw one in Turkey, and it was interesting. Although, we love a challenge.
Oh yeah.
And I do feel it is our job, because we've been sat back waiting to see what comes out onto the market. There really isn't very much. I think we've got one company that's offering some little canardy bits to go around that weird new grille. One company's painted all of the front black. Excuse me. And people are doing some little tweaks, but no one's gone full send yet.
There's the first type-approved camper has been launched. There are pop-top roofs available for the new one now.
Yeah, but they're just all on transit van basis, so they've been out for a while. And remember, that transporter's been out for some time, eh? Because in Europe it was out for much longer than it was here in the UK.
Transporter HQ put one on air, which looked really cool, I thought.
Andy puts everything on air.
Yeah.
Of course it's on air. Full commercial, slammed, beautiful wheels.
Yeah,
of course. Oh, and you would expect nothing less.
Yes. So that's
but interesting really cool. What Andy was saying about some of the comments and the reactions that he's had with that van. I don't know if you've watched his video on that. Maybe.
Some.
Sorry, I'm having to drink a lot because I'm talking a lot. So the T7 and what's happened to our market, I think everyone's feeling a little bit like a rabbit in the headlights, because we've been so used to having such nice vans for such a long time. And now we've got the T7, which isn't such a nice van. It's much more commercial. It's much more vanny, the whole dashboard mirrors thing.
Yeah.
That everyone's a little bit unsure. Now, I know that we have agreed to build the best of the best and the best of what we can do for Chris. And we've got an amazing T7 spec vehicle coming here.
Yeah.
We were going to be, when that van gets to Van Haven, it'd be quite interesting so everyone knows what we're going to do when we get it. We're probably going to park it out the back where it's not so pretty, drink beer, smoke fags, and talk about it.
Yeah, with everyone.
It'll
be sat out there. Yeah, so for everyone to have a look and a poke.
Not an hour, not 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like probably 3 days.
Yeah.
And we'll sit there and we'll look at it and we'll live with it for a while. And then we'll be able to see what lines that we can work with. We will, in true Van Haven spec and fashion, we will make that van look wonderful.
I'm so excited for it. And I think I'm actually more excited because there's been so much hate around it. That really excites me.
They're fundamentally good vans. I know they've got the wet belt, but the wet belt's all over bollocks because they've fixed all of that now. And they've gone with all that warranty and all that other stuff on it. So if we just take, excuse me, let's just like help me out here, big word. Decompartmentalize?
Compartmentalize, yeah.
That one, yeah. Let's just
break down.
Let's break down. No, we can't use that.
Let's just break down.
That's not gonna help the message here. And by the way, I am not a fan of the T7 personally. Myself, I'm not a fan because I feel as a VW guy, I just feel a little bit like
you're still licking your wounds, man. Yeah, you feel it's not a proper VW.
Correct. It's just a bit of a kick in the nuts.
But I would say that all manufacturers are going this way. They're all hopping into bed with each other to save on costs. It's like the whole BMW Z4 and the Toyota Supra, the new Supra. That was built in cahoots and.
Fact check that. Bertie knows nothing about Supras or BMWs.
It definitely is, yeah.
Oh, it is.
They built it together, but for all intents and purposes.
What, those two actual car
It's
mates?
the same car.
Is it?
With different badges on it, yeah.
Not mental. I didn't know that. I
So
don't know anything
lots of
about
manufacturers are doing it.
transporters. Okay.
And then VW are making the Caddy and the Transit Connect out of, I think it's Poland or Czech Republic, out of their factory. Have you seen the new Ford Transit Connect?
Yep.
It's a Caddy.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're kind of splitting production. I can understand from a balance sheet that would be a very effective way to produce vehicles for the entire world.
I get that.
But where we're emotionally invested in the VW
the entire
brand
transporter industry
and the 75 years that transport has been made by VW, that's smart. That is an emotional kick in the nads, for a brand that you love and you've invested so heavily in, and you've invested a lot of your time and love and going to shows and all that, for that manufacturer to turn around and effectively have another company make their new model, it feels like you've been cheated on,
I do feel like I've been cheated on.
And that's where all the negativity is spanning from. It's that emotion.
Yes, but that's where they got it so wrong.
I'm not saying it's right.
Because what they've done is they've essentially they've underestimated how strong their own brand is. And that's because you've got people, and VW, if you're listening to me, take note, yeah? You lot sat around that boardroom table making stupid decisions like this have really upset us. Yeah. And you've done such a good job. VW have done such a good job. Like, there are people who are obsessed. I bet there are tattooed arms, back of the legs, and now in 2025, no necks, but they would have had necks, with VW Beetles, splitties,
Yeah?
Passats.
Have you got a VW tattoo?
No.
Van Haven tattoo.
Maybe. That actually, you guys sat around that table making this decision. You've really missed the mark, because this is a cult of like-minded people who spend an awful lot of money on your product, and you just fucked up VW. But it's down to us, and it's down to us as the kind of the community to lick our wounds, in your words, and do something about it. So it's become a principal thing for me anyway, and it has for quite a few of the lads in the workshop, and in our department where we work in the design and sales department. That actually we've got this T7 new transporter coming here, and we are going to throw the book at it.
We're going to go heavy on it,
full set,
everything we can.
And we have to show, and it's our responsibility, because we've waited a very long time to see what the others have pulled out and put into the market. And they really haven't done much. So they genuinely, if you go and have a little look at the modified Transporter T7, new Transporter, whatever we're going to call the thing, there's very little out there. When the T6.1 came out, Bernsey, we were paying overs from the dealer to buy the stock.
We actually paid overs for a lot of the time, even in the last year or two of production. And that's another, from my point of view, when we had people who had ordered factory orders from VW who had waited at least a year. Joe comes to mind. I think he was waiting for almost a year for his transporter, for that to be built. Joe's 4Motion. He was actually in here a couple of weeks ago.
The pure grey one?
Indian grey.
Yeah, I do know you.
Waiting for so long, and even some orders just got axed, didn't they? And they had such a vast order bank that they couldn't fulfill. Like, why do they turn away that business in order to...
Well, now you can go on. And so when they first came out, they were being offered with no discounts, no dealer support, nothing. And now they're like all the dealer support, all the warranties, all the breakdowns.
Yeah, that 5-year warranty will be very useful.
It will be. Yeah. So mechanically, right, get back to the point, because we've completely digressed. The fundamental van itself is not bad. Yeah, the Transit van is a good van. Transits are like van,
the biggest van in the world.
Backbone of Great Britain.
Yeah,
all that jazz.
Yeah.
We will just do what we do, and I can't tell you today, listeners, what we're going to do to that van. What I can tell you is that the 32 people, we've got 32 people, 30-odd people who work at Van Haven, we are going to work our freaking hardest.
Yeah.
Not only to make it look awesome, and to embrace it, and to kind of bring it back down to VW, but to make it feel really, really different to a Transit.
Yeah.
And we've already made the decision, and we've had this conversation off the microphony air bits, that we will just throw the book at it.
Yeah. And Chris knows that we'll do right by him. He's
Chris, by the way, trust me, man, we're going to make that van.
He's customer zero.
He's
the very first of the newest one. And frankly, it's been hard to get one with the right spec, which we've managed to get. So, yeah, stoked. So looking forward to that. Other projects?
There's loads in the pipeline, actually.
Can we discuss those? Are they still...
They're very top secret, but I'm happy to put a couple of little nuggets into the ether. So we're not going to be just doing VW transporters. We will always do the transporter range, and people can bring us their vans, and we've got 71 left. So we've got a couple of months, 3 or 4 months of vans left to sell and to build. And then we'll be bringing in people's on a retail. So we're going to open an entire new retail division. Yeah. We're not going to be selling parts. That's not us.
No.
That's not what we're looking to do. We're just going to be bringing people. Sorry, my tummy's rumbling. If you can hear. We're just going to be helping people build the ultimate of their vans. We've also got the Shillingstone range, which is really exciting. And everyone is very impressed with that. I feel very humbled.
Yes.
By that build.
It's been well received.
It has.
I think everyone that has seen it has loved it.
It's a proper...
And has bought it.
Yeah. So, there will be other makes and marks involved.
Okay.
We will continue to be as geeky as we've always been, and try and dress it up that we're not really boring and that it is really cool and vibing. The geekery, that is.
Yeah.
I'm probably comfortable in saying now that we will always specialize in business-to-business tax-efficient vehicles.
Yep.
And taking them into something to not only support a lifestyle and a vibe, but to be financially viable for businesses.
Which always helps,
We have to have logic.
Yeah.
That's my tummy. You have to have logic to back up the passion.
Yeah.
Because if we were just doing passion, we would still be sat in the porta cabin. And
so we just get it back, put it on a truck, just keep it in the back of the car park as like a reminder.
Yeah. The logic, and it needs to be logical for Van Haven as a brand. Yeah, it needs to be logical for you guys buying the vehicles for your businesses. And we've got that licked now.
Good,
which is really cool. But we're not going to follow the trend. We're actually going to go completely the opposite, because there are so many people who don't want the predictable. And I want us to be unpredictable. I want us to be unpredictable because it's interesting for our team here. Yeah, it's interesting for the guys in the development and the innovation side of things. Yeah, and if you've got something that's unpredictable and you're on the road and you're on the A316 driving into Richmond in a traffic jam driving by Twickenham, and someone looks over and goes, "Ooh, yeah, that's different."
It's cool for our clients.
That's cool for them.
That is a thing, actually. The feeling of driving something different or unorthodox that's cool, but that's custom, that no one else has, is a thing.
Yeah, man. Totally.
It is definitely
every single person. I can't say every single person. I can't say that. That's bollocks. A lot of our clientele have something special. Drive something weird. And it doesn't matter about values. Yeah. Okay. So it can be a £2,000 old school motorcycle. Mm-hmm. But if it's
You're trying to sell one of those, Ollie, by the way.
If you want an old school motorcycle, please contact me. I have one for sale for less than £2,000.
Is Jordan going to wheel it in?
Yeah. No, from an old bike to a brand new super duper car. Yeah. It's the feeling of not being, of something that represents you. Vehicles have always represented their drivers back from day dot. Yeah. And that's the most important thing for all of us, because I was talking to a very good customer of mine called Mr. Anderson yesterday, and he is 56 years old. He told me, I asked his age. I said, "How old are you then?" And his van is still the thing that he can modify without feeling like a twit. Yeah, because if we are, and I'm not saying this to anyone who does drive a 2001 Vauxhall Corsa, but if you are a 53-year-old man who modifies your 1.1 2001 Vauxhall Corsa, it's not really very... Oh, that's harsh, isn't it? I can't say that. Can I say that?
You can say
there are
that,
a lot of people. There will be.
I don't know Mr. Ranson.
Yeah, he's a very cool guy, and he spent a lot of money modifying his transporter. And he's done an awful lot of really cool, unique, and wonderful things. We built it as a base van, and he takes it further, and he's enjoying
does his own thing.
And I suppose what I'm harking back to really is actually that they are something that you can modify and enjoy, and still scratch that itch from when we were all younger people. It doesn't matter what your age is.
It is a form of self-expression, which, if you walk into a dealer, and I was speaking with Johnny about this earlier today. We saw the new Peugeot 208 GTI that's just been re-released, the electric one.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be based on the old 205 GTI, which was a wicked looking car.
Yeah.
But then from all the renders that they had launched over the last year or so, the actual product doesn't look anything like it.
No.
And what it does, it just looks like any other kind of super mini electric car, be it a Vauxhall Corsa, Audi A1, Skoda Fabia. They're all the same bloody vehicle, you know. They've all got, little different sporty seats, but at the end of the day, they're just, I don't know, I just feel like automotive makers have really sucked the personality out of vehicles. Like back in the day when I started at Audi, we had like shelves, like a library of all the different samples. You could choose which burr, walnut, oak inlays you wanted in an AA, and over the years that's just disappeared. The options for people to choose and make their own car in a dealership now are gone. You know, they're often given the choice of a couple styles of wheels or maybe a black and grey interior. You know, that's it. And unless you go to a real high-end bespoke company, the likes of Morgan, Bugatti, Ferrari,
Roller,
like the VSO, McLaren, or whoever it is, that will still offer you that you know, customization. It's brutal. You know, it's almost like we're sucking the personality out of people's possessions. It's
by design.
You'd even look at like new homes as well.
It's all. Don't
get me going. Don't
get
me
him
ranting.
on that bloody soapbox.
You know,
that'd be a great podcast for another day.
Yeah,
we've got 17 minutes free.
But yes, it's a form of expression, and no matter what your personality, you know, whether you're a flashy guy or you're not, you know,
girls also can be flashy, and they can also not be.
Yeah. So you can. We allow people to have that freedom of expression, and sometimes we'll build something. You know, people said, I want to have this color combination. I've been like, oof. And they're like, oh, do you think that'll work? And I was like, no. And I'm like, look, it's your van. If you can do whatever you want to do. And they said, no, I'm going to stick with my guns, Benzie. Like, that's what I want. And I'm like, yep, that's fine. And we've built it, and it's been bloody awesome. And I've been wrong because it wasn't to my taste. But it was their taste. And that's what matters.
And you are right. That is no longer available in our industry. And it's all by design. Just like the Transport and new Transporter T7, whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah.
Just like the model ranges that you can now buy, you can have a few colours and a few wheels.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes Van Haven special, is that you can go the full send. And it actually ends this podcast where we started. Because my Pumobile, which was my 300T Mercedes, which was brown over brown over brown with brown and brown and brown and brown and brown. Someone walked into a dealership in the late 80s and was allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And they can't anymore.
No.
So fair play to being able to choose whatever the fuck you like on your vehicle because it represents you.
There we go. Can we do a brown on brown on brown on brown transporter?
Yes.
That
if
would
you
be
pay
sick.
for it, I'll build it.
I'd buy one.
I hope you've enjoyed this. I don't know how long. How long have we been chatting, Jordan?
An hour and 10.
Oh,
perfect.
Blimey.
And there's probably going to be 10 minutes of edits, like my swear words and stuff that I shouldn't be saying on a podcast.
Oh, well.
Do
you
know what we should do next time for this podcast? I've enjoyed this, and the listeners can hear from what we're saying. I've really enjoyed this experience, but I think next time we do this, I need to be fed so my stomach doesn't rumble continuously.
Can't believe you've not had lunch.
Yeah, it's okay. And I think we should do it at 4:30, and I think we should do it whilst drinking beer.
Yeah, that'd be quite nice actually.
Because what happens is you and I just end up talking like we're at the pub, which is great.
Yeah, I was going to say the only time we sit this intimately looking at each other and no one else for an hour is at the pub.
Absolutely. And on that beautiful tummy rumble of a note, we should probably go do some work and then go to the pub. Mm-hmm. I've really enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it.
I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, let us know. If you haven't, we won't do it.
Yeah, just let us know if you think that the comments and the stuff that we've been chatting about is absolute bollocks, or if it's actually got some value. I'm actually going to request for some feedback. I know I am terrible at the community. Jordan's raised, flashing his nipple through the mirror. Welcome to Van Haven. Yeah. Put me off.
I really want to learn.
What's it called Jordan, what's it called? Community contact? Engagement.
Yeah.
My missus is marketing. She's on my case about it, so I don't do it very often.
We need to engage.
But can you, on this particular podcast, because it's our first one, can you give us some feedback, please? Because, like I said earlier, we make mistakes and we need to learn by them, and we're only going to get good. And we will be able to bring you much more interesting stuff that's going to add value in the future. So, from me, Ollie.
And me, Bernsey.
Ciao.
Goodbye.